Hey everyone, and welcome back to our Behind Her Brand Leadership Talk Series. As many of you know, we've been interviewing so many amazing women who are offering such incredible insights through these different talks that we're having. And today's not going to be any different. We are going to have Michelle Perzan, who I'm getting ready to introduce in a second, who's going to share some information that I think is so beyond helpful for your families and even just for building your financial futures. But more importantly, she's also a dear friend. She's been a huge, huge supporter behind her brand. She's one of our corporate sponsors. She is like someone that's been all in, 10 toes down into all the things that we've been doing. And she's an incredible woman of God. So I'm excited to introduce to some Michelle Perzan.
Hi, I love the introduction. 10 toes down, that's right, I do.
Yes, you are. So before we jump into everything that I know that I wanted to cover with you today, tell us a little bit about who Michelle Perzan is.
Oh my gosh, so I'm a Christ follower first and foremost. It's just I love the Lord. And I'm married. Actually, October 2024 will be October 1st will be our 20-year anniversary. Me and my lobster Aaron, which I'm like, oh my gosh, how did that happen? So that's exciting. And we have three amazing boys, Daniel, David, and Dylan. And we have a ministry that we do together, Perzan Ministries. I'm an author, a speaker, and really what I do for my marketplace ministry is helping people with set financial goals, build financial wealth for later on. But it's all part of everything that I do. My core is serving the Lord, is to encourage, speak, and restore hope to those, whether it's emotional, physical, spiritual, or financially. And that's important to me, just doing as the Lord calls me to do. So I'm an obedient child of God.
You are. And I love that about you, though. You generally are. And some people can say that and their lifestyles don't reflect that, but your lifestyle definitely reflects that you are. So, yeah. So what I want to do, I'm going to encourage you all as we get ready to go to this particular talk series, and I haven't suggested this in the other ones because this one's a little bit different. If you have a spouse, I would love for you to maybe bring them in. It's going to be just about 20 minutes of some good information that really and truly can bless you and your families. If as you're listening to this information Michelle's getting ready to share, I want to encourage you to tag other people, families, tag people that could benefit from what she's getting ready to share. It's information that I feel like people may hear about but don't always understand, or you haven't applied it until life happens and then you feel like you have to apply it. So I think this is going to be a really amazing talk to go ahead and be proactive now and plug in the spouses, tag other people so that you can learn about some resources that will be really, really helpful for you. Okay, so that being said, Michelle, tell us a little bit about the work that you do.
So what I do is I help protect families, right? So I help protect families, businesses, and I provide strategies for wealth building. So I'm a life and retirement income agent. And what that really means is, so in 2014, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And when I was diagnosed with cancer, somebody had said to me, do you have life insurance? And I had said, I do. And they asked me to look to see if it had living benefits. And I didn't know what that was, but I looked, it did not. But what I did find out, and that's why it became my goal to really, this is part of my marketplace ministry, to educate other people, because I didn't know, right? Yeah. If I would have had living benefits, I would have been able to pull some of that money out of my life insurance to use towards my medical bills, which is a lot. I had a lot of surgeries. So really going through that, I learned, okay, well, what is that? What does it mean? And do other people know about this? And how can I help educate in case somebody goes through the same thing? So that's what I really do, is I educate people on the different vehicles out there in case you get sick and live, right? The medical profession is amazing right now, where if you are diagnosed with something, there's a chance that, right, there's something for it. Like now I'm cancer free, thank you, Jesus, right? Because they have such great medical options. There's also a lot of natural options that are amazing. So having something in place where if something were to happen. So that's how I learned about living benefits. And then I turned it into, okay, how can I help educate? How can I teach other people? So what I do is, life insurance is the base of it, but what we do is we really use that to help build wealth, right? It's a wealth accumulation vehicle. So yes, it's there for protection, but really what we're doing is we're using certain tax codes to keep things in there tax free, to build your wealth, protect you from market risk. So if there's ever a downturn in the market, you're protected. You're not going to lose any money, which is fantastic. It's a great in addition to vehicle. So I help people build, whether it's starting for their children at 2 weeks old, right? My 3 boys each have tax-free retirement accounts. Maybe it's for somebody just getting ready out of college, starting to work, or in college. Maybe it's somebody later in life. It's never too late to start.
Yeah.
It's always good to get the information. But then there's other people I help where maybe I have a conversation. They're like, I have this money, sitting ready for retirement, but I've started this new job. What do I do with that money? I can show options for that where it's protected and preserved, where you can't lose a penny, right?
Yeah.
Protected from the market again. And then there's other people that are like, you know what? I'm on my way to getting debt free. Is there another vehicle to help me? There's other vehicles that are for that actually accelerate your debt free date by using your dollar as a double role of not only canceling your debt, but building wealth. So there's many different vehicles that are within what I do. So if there's people that are looking at, I'm looking to add to my retirement. What can I do for people? Or I don't have a retirement set up yet. What do I do? Or maybe I'm a business owner and I don't even really have anything. What do I do? I can help all those people.
So let me ask you this, because I know that some people, when the minute they hear the word insurance, they like, I'm done, tuning out, logging out. Or on the other side of it, it could be some people that says, I can't afford it right now. We got life insurance, we're good. Let's speak to those people real quick in case there's anyone that may be having those thoughts in this moment, like, okay, I already know about all this. What would you say to them?
Yeah, so that's a great point. So people hear life insurance and they think of the traditional term or this or that. And you know what? Life insurance is just the vehicle, right? It is the vehicle that we have to use to stay within certain IRS tax guidelines to keep everything tax-free. So it's a vehicle that the wealthy have been using for decades upon decades. And so, yes, it's the word, but if you have the right vehicle, do it structured properly, you can make it as a wealth building accumulation product that is amazing, not only for you and your family, but for generations to come. So yes, there is that aspect of it, but we need to do that to keep everything tax-free. That means your interest is tax-free, your loans are tax-free. Like, you want to keep your money tax-free, right? I know I want to have tax-free options, right, when I'm getting ready to retire. The other part of that is, can I afford that? So that's great. That's why we sit down and have a quick conversation to see, what is your budget? What are your goals? There's some people that are like, I don't have any extra, but they're maybe contributing to a 401k at work, right? Maybe they're contributing 10% and the match is 2%. Well, what could we do if we just reallocated what you're already doing and add this vehicle? So sometimes people have the funds in there that they don't even know that we're just reallocating funds to a different place, and it's nothing out of pocket. So there's different options for both.
Okay, so now I'm going to speak to the people who are going to be like, okay, I understand some of what you said, but I'm still a little bit over here. Talk to me about terminology just a little bit, just for a hot second. Like, you hear the TAFRA, I'm probably not even saying it right, but if you hear that, people may not know exactly what that is. If they hear, like, the 401k and how you can make it more protected in the marketplace, all that can sound confusing to someone that may not be using it right now or doing that, or it can sound like, okay, explain, what does that exactly mean? So break those two things down for me a little bit.
Sure. So TEFRA, which you said perfectly, is short for tax-free retirement account. And there's really two true tax-free retirement accounts. There's your Roth IRA, which most people will have an option if they've heard of it before through their work or 401ks. It just means that you're paying the tax up front, so that when you take the tax out at retirement, it's tax-free. Okay. So there's that as a vehicle, which is attached to the market, right? So the market's doing great, so is your funds. If the market goes negative, it does affect your balance. The other one is the other TEFRA, tax-free retirement account. Some people call it also an IUL, or an indexed universal life. That's a little bit different. That is attached to life insurance as the vehicle. However, you are protected from market risk, right? So it's a protected vehicle, but you still get to participate with market gains, which it sounds like a lot. The great thing is that when we do have a conversation and set up a call and I structure different options for you, we get on a Zoom and I go through all of it. I explain it in detail. I answer all your questions. There's no silly questions. I expect questions. I love questions. I love to educate people on it. So those are very normal questions, because they'll be like, well, I heard this before. I heard that. It's great to sit with somebody who that's what they do, right? That's what they do. You can watch a lot of YouTube videos and things like that. And they can get a lot of good information. Sitting with someone that you trust, or sitting with someone who's been recommended or referred, very important. My job is to see how I can best serve you, period. And that's why I call it my marketplace ministry. I love helping people and showing them, this is what you have, this is what you could have, and give them options and say, what's the best fit for you?
And let me add this too. I think you should definitely share this too. I think it's very important because I want to look at the insurance side, but I also want to look at the retirement and investment side too. Oftentimes when we think about life insurance and everything in the space, we're thinking about as the adults, or we're thinking about our beneficiaries. But I know you can also give tax-free accounts to our kiddos. So I want you to speak to that too, because there may be families watching this and may not realize that you can set up accounts for them as well.
Absolutely. So as young as 2 weeks old, or as soon as they have their social security number, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as I found out about it and learned, we set up accounts for Daniel, David, and Dylan. They were, I think, 3, 5, and 8 at the time. And it's powerful because you're, instead of putting into, say, just a savings account, right? Which is powerful to have, really good to have. This is something that can also gain with the market, right? So you're getting that interest, you're getting, it's building, you're not only building up for now, but you're building up for later on that they can take out a tax-free retirement income. Okay, so you're just setting them up for success. But you can also borrow from it, right? So let's take my oldest Daniel. This is year 2. He's in Baylor University. He has an IUL, and he had the option to take some money out of the account value to do a loan. You can do that. You can borrow from it, use it for things, pay it back, where you're not having to go to a bank. And there's just a lot of really good parts of it. When you have the right company, when they're structured properly, they are very, very powerful. So the younger you get them for your children, you're setting them up for success, not only for them, but their families, their future families, their future children. It is generational.
Yeah, I love that. And I'll just say, and I want to make sure everyone really understands why we're doing this, is because I'm a big, big believer in women setting up the financial foundations really well. And I've learned, just being introduced to Michelle a couple of years ago, there's things I still don't know. And when my husband and I even learned this, we shared it with friends as well. Like, we signed things up for our kids because we really want to create different financial stories for them. And I think that's the beauty of legacy. You can learn one thing about finances, but the goal is to keep getting better and better and moving our families forward with education and proper foundation. And I believe, like, the things that you've shared with us, and she is very thorough, and she will answer a million questions because we had them. And it made us feel safe. And that's why I wanted to definitely have this with you, because I think people don't realize, I think it's helpful for people to realize the different resources that are out there that can really help, not just them, but your children as well. And then, like I said, legacy going forward. Yeah. So let me ask you this. We set up over here. I know they can talk to you more about that. How can they talk to you more about that? Share with us the process of working with you in this space here. And then I want to talk more also on the retirement side, businesses and things like that.
Absolutely. So the next step is to set up a call. So it's a free call. It's 10 to 15 minutes where I'll ask you some questions, right? Mm-hmm. What are you currently doing for retirement? Are you contributing right now? Do you have any old accounts? What's your budget? When do you want to retire? Like, I'll ask questions for you, because each person, I structure something specifically for you. Everybody's different. So I'll ask you those questions. So setting up a call is the first thing. And you can do that right at michelleperzan.com. And on one of the top tabs, it says life and retirement, life and retirement needs. So you just click on there. There's a form, put in your name and phone number. I will give you a call back. We'll set up a time, and it's 10 to 15 minutes. From there, I'll go and do all my due diligence, work on different options. We set up a Zoom, and then I will go over the options with you. I share my screen. I explain everything. If it's you and a spouse, we go over that. If it's you want to look at for your kids, maybe it's for your grandkids. Maybe you're set up and you're like, I want to set up for my grandkids. We do that a lot as well. We can go over the different options for that. And then you ask all the questions. And then it might be after that, okay, now that I see what it is, can you show me this and this? So it's a continual conversation until it's either that's exactly what you need, or you have the information and you go back and you let me know when you're ready. But it's having the information so that you can make a choice and feel comfortable with whatever choice.
Okay, so now let's flip to another area that I think is very important, something else you cover. So we obviously in our community, there's a lot of business owners, and there's a lot of business owners that may not have retirement accounts. They may not have anything in place because not everyone comes from a company going into business. So what would you say, or how can you help someone that may not have any retirement? They're starting ground zero. What can you do?
Absolutely. So that's speaking to myself, right? My husband's worked for a company since we've moved to America, but I have always been a 1099. So I don't have an old 401k. I don't have any of that. I don't have an employer putting in anything. So I can help those people, again, having that first conversation and seeing what is your budget? What's your goals, right? When are you going to retire? And work on what's a good fit for you and give you some options, because it's never too late to start, right? It's just a matter of starting, seeing what your options are, what you need to put in. And so I help everybody from whether you are employed traditionally, a 1099, maybe you're a business owner, maybe you're looking for either a business owner looking for key man and different things for your employees. I can help with all of that. So there's sometimes you're like, where do I go? What do I do? Let's have a conversation, because I can help depending on, you could be a stay-at-home mom, which is the most important job, right? The most important ministry is at home. There's something for you as well.
I love that. What are some of the biggest misconceptions people have about the work that you do that you would love to dispel here?
So yeah, I think what you brought up at the very beginning, it's insurance and all these things that go with it, and it's evolved so much, and it's not just your traditional 1970s insurance anymore. It's not. Now these are wealth accumulation vehicles where, yes, it's protection, right? But it's protection for your family, for your business, your home, your children. It's protection from market risk. It's protection from outliving your money later on, right? Because you have that income coming in. It's that protection, knowing that what if Social Security is not there? Do you have another income coming in later on, right? We don't know. Like, we don't know what's going to happen in 10 years or in 40 years. So it's knowing that there's different vehicles that can do powerful things. And that's why I was trained in that, to know how can we take advantage of the IRS tax code, right? To make everything tax-free to build your wealth. Because like I said, the wealthy have been doing it for decades. They just was not shared, and a lot of people didn't know about. Over the last, I'd say 10 years, maybe 50, people started learning about it more. But they've been doing this for decades upon decades, creating generational wealth. And now we're bringing it so everybody can do it. Now it's not just the wealthy doing it, everybody can do it. And that's powerful.
So what would you share to someone that in this moment may still be on the fence on, okay, do we do this right now for our family, or maybe I should wait another year or two because right now we're healthy and everything's good? What would you say to that person?
Have the call now. Set it up and get the information now, because you never know, right? And I didn't know when I got that phone call February 27th, 2014. I didn't know I was going to get that phone call. I happened to have some insurance in place, but I didn't know I wasn't able to get insurance in place now until it was a year ago. I was finally able to start my own TEFRA. I couldn't before then because of everything that I went through. You know what? It's better to have something and have it just in case, right? Because it's not just the insurance part of it. Yes, if you don't look at it as the protection, but that's the vehicle we're using. If you know you can start building your wealth so that you can retire earlier, right? So you can do more for not only you and your family, but then for your children and your children's children. Like, as a mama, it just speaks to me of, yes, I want to make it easier for them so that they have choices, that if they want to do this and have a business and be entrepreneurs, or they want to give and they want to sow into ministries, whatever it is they want to do, they have choices. I love that.
I do too. I love that this is the kind of work that you're doing, and that more importantly, you really do have a heart for wanting to help families. And I think one of the things, and this may sound like the craziest thing to say, but one thing I love about you is that you're not going to hound people. You're not going to beat them down to say, and I only say that because I've dealt with people, to be very, very honest, transparent in your field before in past situations, and it kind of felt that way. And I know when it comes to deciding financial matters for family, it takes time for families sometimes to make that decision. Everyone's in so many different places, different spaces with this. But I love that you've always been very intentional, but also very caring about giving people space to make informed decisions in this area. So kudos.
Thank you. I feel like it's important for us to, like, my job is to educate you. It's not to sell you something, right? I mean, and that's the truth of it. I'm to educate you so that you feel comfortable with whatever decision you make. If you're a not right now, or it's not for me, that is fine. I've done my job, right? Yeah. There's other people, though, if I don't ever educate you and you've never heard about it, right? Then there's the people that are like, oh, I wish I would have heard about this 5 years ago. Yeah. So that's why it's important to educate, because you don't know who they're going to pass it on to, or maybe it's not for them, but they're like, I have somebody that's been looking for something like that. Exactly. So absolutely, it's not about hounding. and thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. Yeah.
No, I think it's important because, I just think when you're making a decision like this, you need to make it with someone you trust, and that you don't feel like they're going to press you into anything. Because, like we said in the beginning, when people hear insurance, sometimes it's easy to shut off and think, I got that, or I don't want to deal with that right now. I'm good. But I think it's just even more important to make informed decisions. But if nothing else, get the information. If nothing else, just look at the information. So
And I just want to say one other thing. If you're at a point in your life right now where you think, well, it's too late, I'm getting, I don't know, or they're saying, I don't know if I'll ever be able to retire. I hear when I talk with people, one of the things I say is, I'm never going to be able to retire. I'll be 80. And then when we have the conversations and go over everything, it really does give them hope that yes, they can retire a lot earlier than they thought, putting a vehicle in place. So don't think if you've said those words, first of all, I break it off you. That's not truth, right? You can. It's not too late. You don't have to work forever, especially at a place where you don't want to be. There's things that we do that we love that we'll do even when we want to retire. But I'm talking going to a place where you don't want to be. You don't have to. There's other options. Just, have a phone call. Let's see how I can best serve you.
And so share that information again, because I want you to do one closing thought before we leave, but I want you to share the information again on how someone can reach out to you. And I want to make sure that we just kind of recap a little bit that it's insurances that you're speaking about, protecting family for wealth building. So it's different than traditional, like you mentioned. You cover retirement. You can work with someone that don't have nothing, and you can help them build something. But you can also work with people who do have established retirement accounts, and give them options that they can consider in protecting their accounts. Is that all correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yay. And I do so many different things. I'm always making sure that I'm very aware of it myself, because I really just believe in the work that you're doing. And I just think that the more knowledge and more people we can reach with it, it can really help change family dynamics in the space. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. So tell us a little bit more about, one more time, sorry, how they can get in contact with you.
Yeah. So it's my name. So MichellePerzan.com. And then at the top, you'll see life and retirement needs. Go ahead and click on there and fill out your form. It's just your name, email, and phone number, and I will reach out to you and set up a call. If you want to put in the notes, saw you on Kimberly's Behind Her Brand, you can totally put that as well. But yes, please reach out and let's set up a call. I would love to speak to each one of you.
Awesome. Any closing thoughts before we close out today?
I just wanted to thank you for what you provide here. Having this community, the Behind Your Brand community is, to me, life-changing. The group of women coming alongside you, it's beautiful to see a group in a community like this where we lock arms, right? We're supporting each other, cheering each other on, sharing each other's posts. Here's this podcast. Here's this book. It's a beautiful thing. It was missing in my life. And when I got to meet you and take part of the book, Walk by Faith, it was a beautiful way of seeing, your heart, right, to serve women, your heart to be the leader in this area, and just the way that you're charging the way to break off those barriers, to have women walk in their full calling and purpose. And it's so important of what you're doing. Yes, this is a great leadership series. I know you're interviewing each one of us, but you're the leader of it, that you have paved the way of setting a place for people to come so that we can support each other. And I just honor you for that. I love your heart for the Lord and what you do for people. And I thank you for the magazine, just everything that you do with such excellence. And I just want to honor you for that. I just love what you're doing with this community. It's amazing. It's blessed me.
Oh, thank you. Well, I didn't expect that, Michelle. But thank you so much. That is definitely, you spoke to what I really do love every day, and I strive every day, because I just know what it's like not to have support. I remember that feeling, and my prayer has always been that we can build a community where people really do feel supported. It's not just words; it's something that you actually visibly feel and see. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so ladies, now that she did all of that, I want to encourage you to consider reaching out, even if it's just for the information. Just reach out, because information is I'm not gonna say it's power. I think application of that is more powerful. But it's the first start. It's definitely the first start to get the information. So thank you again, Michelle, for joining us today, and we will be talking to you soon. And ladies, continue to tune in. We are interviewing some equally amazing women every day this week, and I just encourage you to reach out to them. These are women that I know personally, I care about, and who really and truly love and care about the work that they do. So I invite you to take the time to learn about them, reach out to them, review their information, because it really and truly can be changing for your family. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye, Michelle.
Bye.